Okay, before making this video on how to replace your garbage disposal, I really want you guys to take a second, and if you're about to attempt this project, please turn your breaker off. Don't be a cowboy, just turn the switch off. Please don't do that. Please disconnect your breaker, or turn off your breaker. So on mine, right here, it's number 10, dishwasher disposal. Come over here, flick that off. Leave this off until the very end when you're gonna test it and you know that there's nothing exposed. Now we can start the video. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I'll show you how to replace a bad garbage disposal. Give you a quick rundown of what mine's doing. If you look underneath, you can see, or maybe you can't see, but it's dripping water right there out of the electrical connector right there. Definitely not safe, definitely time to replace it. This is a hardwire unit, so I'll show you how to do that. And this is basically what it's been doing under my counter or under this cabinet for a long time. So spare the details about my personal case, but I'm going to show you how to get this thing out, put a new one in, and just hopefully get you guys on your way. So let's get started. So I'm going to state a couple of the obvious things right off the bat. Make sure I'm replacing mine with a bit higher horsepower unit. I believe the one I'm putting in is a 1 horsepower, and this is a 1/2 horsepower. So it's a little bit bigger unit, but the thing you want to pay attention to is make sure that it's the same electrical connection. So some of them are plug-in, some of them are direct wire. This one is direct wire. The wire's in down there. I'll show you how to do that. Also, make sure your ports match your current plumbing situation. Make your life easier. You don't want one where this is clocked over here or one where this port's, you want to make sure it's the correct, if you can, just replace what you already had with something that matches. But those are a couple things I wanted you to pay attention to first, because you're probably going to watch this video before you order your garbage disposal. So do that first. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm just kind of going through all the parts, kind of lining everything up in here. Make sure you have a nice clean workspace. Keep a towel nearby in case things get messy, because things like to drip. In my particular situation, this thing stinks. Like under here, it's been dripping for a while, so it's just take precautions. Make sure you have a nice, neat workspace. I'm going to start by disconnecting the dishwasher drain line, which is this little guy right here, and this just takes a standard flathead screwdriver. You loosen up this collar, which is just like a pinch clamp. It pinches onto it. Let me get this loose. So I got this loose. I'm just gonna give it a little twist like that. Yours will probably be a little bit seized on there from the grime, and pull that bad boy off. Look at that nastiness, stinks. That's that. And it's gonna dump water everywhere, so be careful. Put a towel down. So next thing you want to do is take off this little drain flange. This is where all the crap shoots out of it. This is 2 machine screws, so I've already pre-loosened mine up, and there's this flange sitting here. Roll that flange back, and this is just press fit, and there's a little rubber gasket in here. The new kit, this is what you're looking at. The new kit comes with it right here, so that comes off too. Slip it out of the way. It's probably going to be gross, so just get that clear so this can drop down. Remember, these things are heavy, so just be aware when you loosen up this collar, it's going to want to fall down, so make sure it doesn't smash this plumbing and crack stuff on you. In order to release the garbage disposal from this collar, you don't need to worry about, unless you're changing the flange out at the top, don't worry about these screws just yet. You can either hit this with a hammer. You're trying to loosen this ring off, or a little trick, if you put a screwdriver in here and just kind of pull like that, it'll drop just like that. So you can put I've seen some other hack videos where they put a couple of phone books underneath here. You could do that too, but it's not that bad. Like I said, just make sure you're clear when it falls. Now the next thing, or the last thing we're gonna do, is disconnect the electricity. I'm gonna show you how to do that now. All right, so let me show you, demystify this here for you guys if you've never done one of these before. This is a little elbow that gets reinstalled onto the bottom of your disposer. And to get to the actual electrical connection, since mine is hardwired in here, if you just kind of peer around, I mean, this is terrible. This is why my breakers kept popping. You can see the little orange wire nuts in here. To get to these, you take off this little plate. So you undo that screw, and you can get to the wiring in here, and you can just see how dangerous this was and why my breakers kept popping, just filled with water. So these electrical connections were completely submerged, pretty much 24/7. So pretty scary stuff. Not cool. So you're going to undo this, and this is how you get to your wire nuts to undo everything. I'm going to go ahead and just clip mine off because I got plenty of extra wire here. I'm just going to cut mine, get some new wire nuts, start over, and you're going to reuse this little elbow because this is what's going to keep the wires protected when it's remounted underneath here. So if you look at the new garbage disposal, you'll see that your wiring, get this to focus real quick, your wiring, your black and white wires are right here. You just wire nut them together and you have a neutral here. And yeah, okay, my neutral's still connected on there. I didn't think it was. So you connect your neutral. I'll show you how this is wired up, but I just want you to kind of get familiar with the wiring here. And I know I said in the beginning of the video, but please make sure that your garbage disposal is number 1, turned off, and 2, you have no power coming to it from your main panel. Turn that breaker off. Test it. When you buy your garbage disposal, I'll put a link down below to a little electrical tester you can use to hover around here to completely make sure it's disconnected before you even touch this thing, because you can get pretty seriously shocked here, especially when you're dealing with stuff that's wet. So let me show you how to do this. So let's go ahead and clip this connection here. Just get them all out of there. Clean up those ends here in a second, but let's get this out of there. Let's pull this little elbow off, clean it up a little bit, and let's get the old garbage disposal out of our work zone. So let's thread this little elbow onto the new garbage disposal first, because that'll be a lot easier doing it now than later. And there's a little gasket you'll see there. You want that to make the seal. There we go, getting nice and snug. Perfect. So next what I'm doing is I've made sure that this collar is still back here, and I'm fishing the wires through this little elbow, and they're coming through here. So we're just gonna fish them through. I'll probably do that off camera. Fish them through so you have enough area to work with so you can wire nut all this stuff together. So let me pull these through. So here I've got my wires fished through the little elbow, and I've just stripped the ends off of them with a little wire stripper. You can pick one of these up on Amazon when you order your disposal. Throw an affiliate link down below on one I recommend. And I've just basically, but I've wire nutted the 2 black wires together, the 2 white wires together, kept them nice and tidy, and then I've attached my neutral to this screw. So take a good look at that. That's what you're gonna mimic when you wire yours up. So these get tucked away nicely back in here, making sure not to pinch anything. So they should just slip right in there nicely. And then you're gonna put the cover back on that plate there, that little plate that came off. Got my plate reinstalled. It's nice and flat and flush, no wires sticking out. And now we're gonna tighten up this flange. Keeps everything sealed. And then when we do our final installation, we're gonna make sure that this is slipped over here like that. So next, I'm gonna hang my garbage disposal off of my existing InSinkErator mount because there's nothing wrong with this. Actually, it was replaced a year ago. So I'm gonna hang up here, but you can easily put your new one in just by unscrewing these screws and sandwiching it back together against your drain. So that's one piece I'm gonna leave out of the video. Already has all the gaskets and seals in there already. Okay, being a one-handed cameraman here, I have this kind of resting up here, but the trick is to just place it up here centered, and then you're gonna use that little collar and spin it across, and it's gonna tighten itself on. And as you keep tapping it with a hammer, it'll get tighter on that little flange. So let me do it and I'll demonstrate. So here it is, lightly set and hung into place. And as I turn this ring, even just a little bit, it sucks this up into the bottom of the drain so it doesn't leak. So the trick is to take something long, like a screwdriver, like this, and get some leverage and twist until it's nice and tight. Or you can also tap it. You can bang it and tap it in the clockwise direction, but just be careful because you might slip, and if you slip and puncture a line, you're going to be in trouble. So I like to always do them like this, just for good measure here. So once you have it all set in place and everything is clocked correctly, meaning everything is pointing to be connected again, like this will just go right in here like this. But before you do that, make sure you take your little gasket that they gave you, and this slips right in, this flange, like that, and it should be nice and flush. Then take your new little collar ring and get that position so it'll go just like that. So let me take out these little screws. I always put them in here so I don't lose them. And that'll bolt right up to the flange. So I've just got them loose in place, and now we're just gonna snug them up like this. Okay, so as you can see there, before you go ahead and connect your dishwasher drain, you do need to knock out that little plate that's inside of the dishwasher drain port. So if we're looking at the garbage disposal, you look in here and you'll see that little, see there's nowhere for the water to go because there's that little stopper in there. So the way I'm gonna knock that out is a little screwdriver. I'm just gonna tap it out and then fish it out through the top. Okay, so you can see here I've got the plug knocked out halfway. You could do this when the disposal is not installed yet. I totally spaced on this one, guys, so my apologies, but remove your plug when the disposal is on the setup bench instead of installed, but it's no big deal either way. I'm just gonna finish knocking that out with a hammer and a screwdriver, and then I'm just gonna fish it out through the top of the drain. No big deal. Okay, so you can see there, it's knocked out through. And now I'm just gonna fish it out through the top. Yeah, you can see it right there, that little black plastic piece is just sitting in there, so I'm just gonna grab it. So there's a little piece that you're gonna knock out. Like I said, little mistake in this video, just do it before you install the garbage disposal. Save yourself a little bit of time, but it's really not that big of a deal. You just knock it out and grab it from the top. Okay, so you're gonna connect your dishwasher drain now, and I have my clamp just loosely sitting on here, and we're gonna slide it onto these barbs of the garbage disposal. Make sure it's all the way on. Make sure it gets all those barbs nice and snug, and then this clamp is gonna clamp onto the center of those barbs there. So let me get that going. Okay, so here's the finished installation here. Before I turn the power on, you wanna just make sure, give it a good look over. Everything looks good, except for that electrical. It's down there, that slipped off. So that's why I always do a final look. Let me get that set. Gonna be stubborn. Let me fix that. Okay, I've connected the breaker. Run some water. Keep this baby on. Checking for leaks. So far. Now let's throw the stopper in here. I'll let this fill up a bit. So I'm gonna let all the water rush into that garbage disposal. I'm gonna check and make sure there's no leaks. Okay, that's good enough. So I'm gonna shut that down. I got a bunch of water in here. So I'm gonna let the water kind of rush into the unit, and I'm gonna check and see if there's anything leaking. And it looks pretty good. So what I'm really checking is this area here, anything below, and any of these joints of these P-traps that got loose, and that all looks pretty good. So we'll call this installation good. If this video helped you guys in any way, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. If you did find this video useful, I try to upload videos that actually help people and take them a bunch of the fluff away. So I really do appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Later.